Hey everyone, and welcome to the video where I explain my thought process and how I see the band assisted jumps, especially when we put the band in our hands to assist the jump, the potential consequences of that, but also the variation I like better and the progression of exercises I use with my athletes and clients to get them to the jump. So most of my athletes and clients have this compressed rib cage at the top, creating this downward gradient, pushing the guts down into the pelvis. So getting them to hold the band in their hands and pull themselves up as they're jumping is gonna increase the muscle activity up top, and it's gonna further compress this chest at the front. Because our body acts just like a water balloon, if I'm a water balloon and I have a compressed chest up the top, I'm compressing the water balloon and everything's falling down. So it's gonna be really hard for me to leave the ground because everything is working downwards. Now I have this squeeze up top and I grab the band. I'm gonna be pulling myself with the musculature in the upper body up, but I'm compressing it, creating this compression even worse and pushing myself down into the ground. Yes, the band is helping me, but the shape of the body I'm creating is not optimal to leave the ground. So if we know we're here, the goal is to create some space up top here and then use the exercises and tools also to create a compression at the bottom in order to expand the top of our rib cage. Because that way we can work against gravity and actually push ourselves up off the ground. So let me take you through a quick sequence of exercises and self-mobilizations to create this space up top, but also to create the shape at the bottom in order to push the volume up and leave the ground. So when we have this squeeze up top, our pelvis usually looks like this, with the back of the pelvis really closed off, especially this sacrotuberous ligament and lower glute max are holding this position in this flowered shape. The ultimate goal is to create this internal rotation at the pelvis, but in order to do that, we'll have to open this space at the back here. So a useful activity to start with is this lacrosse ball sit. So I'm gonna place a lacrosse ball right under my right sit bone, and from here I'm just gonna drop to the outside of the sit bone so the lacrosse ball is on the inside of my sit bone. I'm gonna feel I'm on a pretty deep of the musculature there, and from here I'm just gonna sit, take some breaths, let the lacrosse ball dig into the tissues there, try to reduce the activity of my glutes and everything and just kind of melt into the lacrosse ball. Do 3 times 15 breaths there. So now I want to create some space up top here so we can then create a compression from the bottom when we'll have this space open up for the guts to go. I'm gonna start on my belly here. I'm gonna feel my pubic bone heavy. I'm gonna make a diamond shape with my arms, elbows away from the midline here. I'm just gonna drop down, and from here, my glutes are soft. I don't want any muscle activity in the lower extremities. I'm just gonna reach the elbows down and away until I lift myself off the ground. My elbows are heavy, my heel of the hand is heavy, and from here I'm just gonna take my breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, feeling the front and back of the chest expand. My eyes are fixed on my fingertips. Breathing in this position, reducing this compression down at the front. Do 3 times 15 breaths here. Now that I created some space in the back of my pelvis and reduced some of this compression at the top, I'll use a half foam roller and the Levo belt because our goal here is to start bringing these 2 pointy bones at the front of the pelvis called ASISs closer together and get the back of the pelvis to open up. And that's why we'll use this half roller. I'm gonna be sitting on it long ways, each of my sit bones on each side, 90 degrees bend at the hips and knees, inner heels heavy. I'm staying upright at the chest. I don't want to be too far back or too far forward, just find the middle ground there. And I'm going to be breathing in through my nose, expanding the front and back of my chest out through my mouth. With this, we're actually creating this pumping effect of our guts in order for them to be able to push ourselves off the ground. Also, to assist with the pelvic shape closing at the front, you can also do this before you go into the foam roller sit. So you want to use a half roller and place it on the side of your pelvis right under your ilium. And from here, you're just going to lay down and you're going to bend both hips and knees. Heels are under my butt. And from here, I'm going to feel a lot of pressure on the side of my pelvis. I'm going to be inhaling, stepping this leg up, opening the pelvis up, keeping this knee down on the ground. And as I exhale, I'm going to be stepping this leg over, feeling even more compression on the side of my pelvis. Inhaling here again, exhaling, stepping back, rolling to the back of the pelvis more. Inhaling here, exhaling, stepping over. Relaxing in this end position as much as possible so you just melt into the roller. Do 2 times 8 step overs each side. Now we can go into something loaded like a 90-degree box squat. So why we want 90 degrees? Because when we sit down to 90 degrees, the pelvis will be in the most internal rotation in the squat. So I'm gonna be using a goblet squat position. I'm gonna keep my inner heels heavy, base of the big toe heavy. I'm just gonna start here, forearms parallel, elbows reaching down and forward, keeping the back big, inhaling, lowering down, completely unloading on the box, exhaling, pushing the heels down to get back up to the starting position. I'm using the Levo belt in this one as well because I want to make sure the pelvis internally rotates as I sit down on this box. Now we can get to the main part of this video, which is this band supported, but band supported from bottom up. So I'm using this band, which is about pelvis height, and I'm just gonna set up, I'm gonna put the band underneath my butt here, and from here, I'm just gonna dip down and push up. So the difference here is this band is supporting us from the bottom, keeping this space open because we don't have to contract the muscles up here, which would pull us down even further. But now the band is helping us in this most difficult part of the jump and assisting us from the bottom up. So a lot of you might be asking, I never dip down so far when I'm doing a counter movement jump, but we use these activities in order to create the shape of the system and created more expansion at the top. So we now have a better opportunity to leave the ground without using this top-down compression even more. So I'm aware that a lot of you do these jumps to reduce the ground contact times. But even in those cases, I would probably use any kind of belt and attach the bands to the belt so the bands are assisting the system from the bottom up and not getting them here. If you don't want to miss these videos when I put them out and other useful content, subscribe to my mailing list by clicking the link in the description.